worst hangover ever. The worst hangover ever. When you have the anticipation of winning and all signs point to yes, and then what happens Saturday happens. Welcome back to the Midweek College Football Breakdown. Here we are at Week 8. I'm the AntMan up top, Brandon Stevens down low. We got Dalton Miller, and we are on the heels of Oklahoma, Texas. If you had known ahead of time that this was the performance that we were going to get, would you rather have had MHJ at quarterback, Dalton?
Yeah. He just didn't have the same competitive spirit that he had. And not that he's not competitive. Obviously, he's out there playing through pain, so that's not what I mean. But he didn't run the ball as physical. Yep. You watch the slow motion plays when he would get tackled. He did everything he could to make sure that hand didn't hit the ground. I mean, he was obviously in pain, and it impacted his ability to run the football. And because of that, it really impacted Oklahoma's offense. I mean, we had a good first drive. He was slinging the ball fine, but it's a long game, and you're going to take some hits when you're a running quarterback and when you use your legs to make plays. And he couldn't do the same thing that he did against Michigan, against Auburn. And when you don't have a run game in general, and over half of your run game is your quarterback, you need him to be healthy. So I much rather would have gone with Michael Hawkins knowing this now, because he could have at least ran the ball hard. We could have maybe created a run game with a quarterback who had the capability to make a play with his legs, because it's not like Mateer tore it up through the air through the length of 4 quarters, and our offense just couldn't get going through 4 quarters. So really disappointed with the overall outcome and what we saw with Mateer.
Brandon, we talked about whether he, practice, and there was a lot of talk after the game. How much did he actually get to practice last week? Because anytime they're outside, he was not the quarterback. So anytime that they were not indoors, he was not the one getting the snaps. So maybe half practice? You think you were somewhere in that neighborhood?
And I mean, it kind of comes out today in some of the Oklahoma sports radio that I listen to. I don't really think he practiced against a defense at all last week. If he did, it was a scout team defense, and he was wearing a blue jersey, obviously. But I really think the progression of his week went Monday, not really probably anything. Tuesday, throw. Wednesday, throw a little bit more. Thursday, throw a little bit more. Didn't do much on Friday. Traveled on Saturday morning. I just kind of think that's how it went. And I think the speed of the game and the speed of the Texas defense caught up with him after not really practicing or playing for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
He didn't practice against the live defense. He obviously wasn't doing good on good, as Brent said last week. He's not doing good on good. You would think he would, if he was going to play, he'd be doing good on good. Well, they don't do good on good very much in practice. But he wasn't doing any good on good, and was going basically against the scout team, is all that I heard all week long, which makes sense because he seemed a little late in his progressions. He seemed a little late with his passes. He just didn't seem to have the timing there that he would have normally had.
Our first drive of the game went 52 yards. That was our longest drive of the game.
Yeah, the whole game.
Yeah.
I mean, it just, like you said, it caught up with him. And I think that first time of taking a hit and realizing he's about to run, and he usually absorbs contact or creates contact. And I think he realized he can't do that the same right now. His hand was obviously bothering him. It was at least in his head. I wish we would have made an adjustment and switched up.
I think at this point, I'm okay with scratching the running game. Turn it into a Mike Leach, complete air raid offense, throw the ball 65 times a game, and a lot of them are going to be sideways or backwards or like that offense was. But make that the extension of your running game that you need. And then maybe when he does take off and run every once in a while, or somebody does bust one every once in a while, then it lends to a little more credit to, or a little more ability to that running offense to be able to work some. I mean, it was so frustrating. Probably one of the most frustrating times for me Well, one was right at halftime when we just completely messed up the clock management and the game management.
Awful.
There at halftime. And it's really kind of pissed me off because even in Brent's coach's show with Toby Rowland, when they were talking about it, he was like, yeah, we decided we just wanted to take a shot into the end zone. And if that didn't work, we were going to kick a field goal. Well, then Brent didn't make the best decision, and him and Burks weren't quite on the same page. And that's not what you decided. You're an idiot. If that's what you decided, you need to be fired for that one play. If that's why you wasted the clock right there. We literally started that possession with 1 minute and 30 seconds on the clock. We ran like 2 plays, and then it got down to 30 seconds. Well, then we run that last play, we substitute, and the play is over at 30 seconds. We substitute. For whatever reason we substitute there is unbelievable. Like, that's just poor clock management in itself. You don't substitute then. You don't have any timeouts left because you've already wasted them all. So you don't substitute. Well, then Texas substitutes slowly, which they should. I would too if I was Oklahoma. But then Mateer tries to play a little bit of hero ball and tries to take the throw that he probably shouldn't have taken. He should have gone to the other side of the end zone, or to the other corner of the end zone, where, oh geez, I just went blank on his name. Giovanni Gibson was. Giovanni Gibson's like 6'6" or something. Throw the ball up to him. Let him go up and get it. Instead, he throws it to Burks against their best secondary player, and it's just a horrible pass. And we don't even get a chance to kick a field goal. Then coming right out. Go ahead.
Here's your stats. We threw an 8-yard pass on 2nd and 10, 45 seconds on the clock, and waited to call the timeout until it was 10 seconds.
Right. But the first down, how much time was left, or how much time was on the clock when we ran first down? It was over a minute because we wasted like 15 seconds.
Well, we started that drive with 4:15 on the clock, and that was our second longest drive to that point. We had gained 45 yards on that drive total before stalling.
Okay. I don't care what I'm
so let 35 seconds go.
Well, right. So once you substitute,
your offense is moving. I mean, we had a 10-yard pass, 8-yard pass, 11-yard run, 10-yard pass. It doesn't make any sense why you stalled and just wanted to take a shot to the end zone from that deep.
Right. Well, they didn't. They just screwed it up, and they're using that as an excuse.
Yeah.
They didn't. 100% they didn't. They screwed up, and whoever the hell substituted needs to be suspended or freaking fired. Don't substitute right there with 30 seconds left. You don't have timeouts left. Or you have one timeout left, but you wait until there's 10 seconds left to call it. So you're going to substitute. They're going to substitute. When you realize they're substitute, you call the timeout immediately, and you have like 25 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, I mean, that drive honestly had the momentum to change the game. We were about to go up. I mean, the way things were going,
changed the game.
We're at least getting in field goal range, but they were moving the ball for the first time since the first drive of the game, and they had 45 seconds. They could have gone and gotten 6 the way that was going, because we actually established 2 runs on that drive. So there was a little balance. Texas was allowing us to move the ball, and we quit on that drive.
I mean, just penalties killed us in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Penalties killed us. We're third down, and I think it may have been 3rd and 8, something like that. Mateer breaks that run for 25 yards down inside the 20, down into the red zone in the third quarter, puts us in position to where we could tie the game because it was 13-6 at that point, puts us in position to tie the game. And it gets called back for a holding on Kent, totally on the other side of the field, that had nothing to do with the play. He's out there holding, and it was a blatant hold. They showed it. I mean, you had to call it. It's a blatant hold, but why is he holding? Like, trip and fall down in front of the guy, and you still have the same – let the guy run by you. You still have the same result in the play. We killed ourselves. And at that point, when we didn't score on that drive, it was over. I mean, that was it. That was it.
So we're under the consensus of there is no hope for a running game in 2025 in Oklahoma.
No. I mean, one of the guys was talking today, and he was like, they might as well just leave Javonte Barnes in the whole time because he's the only one that can pass block. Mm-hmm. And that has been proven. He is definitely the only one that's really willing, it seems like, to stick his nose up in the chest of an offensive lineman or a linebacker or a safety that's blitzing. He's the only one that can run block. But, I mean, if we're going to scrap the running game, just keep Barnes in or go 5 wide or 4 wide and a tight end, something like that. I mean, Ott is done. I mean, from the talks today, Ott's done.
Has to be. He didn't even block.
He didn't even try to block.
He watched from the field.
Yeah, he didn't even try to block. And on the one play I'm talking about, it was Satania on the end around, and he was the lead blocker. But why is that your scheme? You know he's not getting in front of anybody. So why are you making Jaden Ott the leading blocker out there?
Yeah.
Why are you making?
Why we're rotating the backs anyways?
Yeah.
Like,
why is he in that rotation?
None of them have proven anything.
Yeah,
none of them have.
The only one I still believe Blaylock. If we're going to try, he's our best one. Even in this game on that drive, he broke 2 runs, not because we had a hole, because he broke a tackle and was able to bust one. So why?
And one of those got called back for a holding penalty as well.
Yeah.
Our 2 longest runs of the day, the Mateer run and that Blaylock run, both got called back for holding penalties that were not in the play, that were away from the play. So frustrating. I mean, defense did a good enough job to win this game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
No, 100%. I mean,
defense gave up 16 points.
Honestly, the offense was going to get another shot until we couldn't. Like, I think the defense was going to stop Arch Manning until we let the punt return for a touchdown. Yeah. I had no doubt in my mind the defense was going to – we'd had maybe very little time on the clock. But they wouldn't have gotten to their last touchdown without the punt return, and we just couldn't tackle anybody on that. And I saw a lot of OU fans, well, this is a block on the back. Well, yeah, but you had other chances. You had other chances. I mean, you can't – you know that crap's going to happen in a game that was at that point still a 1-score game.
Sure.
Yeah, there's 2 blatant ones, though, and one of them was literally running right up on the guy, the ball runner that was coming towards him, and he got hammered from the side in the back and took him completely out of the play. How that one didn't get called, I don't know. But you can't – I mean, there's zero blaming this loss on the officials.
Right.
This loss is 100% our fault, and something's got to change. I mean, I'm tired of this. Look, 48 yards rushing. And it's kind of funny today because on the way home they were talking to somebody and he's like, well, Arch Manning had his best career game. And we're like, great job. He threw for 166 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, he didn't count.
And if that's what they're going to talk about being his career game, then that's great. And it's only because his QBR was 89%. And I mean, but in all honesty, he played much better than I thought he would. Yeah. But we didn't get any pressure on him.
Yeah.
How many times did we drop Mason Thomas and David Stone and drop those guys into coverage? That's not what they do. Remember back when Eric Stryker was here and they started doing that with him the year after he set the record for most sacks in a season? They started dropping him into coverage, and he had like 3 sacks that season. Like, why are you doing that? I think Brent outsmarted himself on this one. Brent's a really good defensive coordinator.
They know that I'm going to do this, so I'm going to do something different, even though what I did worked. If it worked, make them stop.
It felt like with Stryker. It's like, oh man, they're gonna be able to double team him now, and they're gonna move his side, and so it's like we're just gonna drop him into coverage as disguise. No,
let him go.
Let your guys go be dudes.
In a world where consistency, we live in this world in college football where consistency is not a thing anymore. Coaches, players, everybody's all over the place. Texas is the only Power 5 school to have their head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and special teams coach unchanged for the last 5 years. How about that? Off to the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's start here. Penn State says goodbye to Franklin. Check this out. 3 weeks ago, number 2 in the nation. He's 53 years old, barely older than me and you, B. Won 2 playoff games 10 months ago. Past 3 seasons, 11-2, 10-3, 13-3, and now being paid somewhere around $56 million just to sit out and stay at home and watch football every Saturday. Good and bad and the ugly on this firing. Let's start there. Brandon, start with you.
I mean, there's no good in it. I mean, you look at Penn State and
hang on, time out. There's good in it. $56 million.
Oh, well, okay.
I give you
okay. The good is, I mean, hey, they can fire me from my job tomorrow.
That's right.
If they want to pay me $56 million, and I'll be living in the Caribbean by next week. You guys will never see me again. But okay, so that's the good. The good is that the bad is, God, this is a hard one for me because I mean the bad is just how bad Penn State really gone downhill. I mean the number 2, the number 2 team in the country to start the season, that were ranked number 2 in the preseason polls. They're out of the top 25 after 2 losses, one of them a very bad loss. I wouldn't consider the Oregon loss a bad loss. It's just a home loss against another good team. But losing to 0-4 UCLA and then this loss this past week, I mean, I said last week on our podcast, I was like, they're not going to fire him. They're going to owe him over $50 million if they fire him. And sure enough, the boosters stepped up and was like, hey, here's an empty pocketbook. You go ahead and do what you need to do.
Getting any good, bad, and ugly for you, Dalton, on this one?
I just want to say, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
He's been really good at Penn State, really good. And he's struggled to get to that elite level, to beat Ohio State, to beat Michigan. But he's got Penn State football where Happy Valley is one of the toughest places to play, especially in a wideout. It's a college football tradition where like any team in the Big Ten, if they get a primetime game, they want to go play in the wideout.
Yeah.
They want to experience that. And he's done a heck of a job. Just, I mean, with everything that Penn State football program has gone through, he got them to a team that's consistently in talks of being the best in the Big Ten and a college football playoff team. And just be careful what you wish for. I mean, you better get somebody that can come in and do better than what he's done.
Yeah.
I don't know what the good, I mean, to me, the ugly is going to come after. The ugly is going to come when you can't find somebody that's going to do what James Franklin has done. And I understand that he's had a bad 3-game stretch, and the loss to UCLA was not good. However, UCLA, I think, is about to turn a corner because they just got 2 wins in a row, and I did not see that coming. And what if UCLA goes and wins out this year, and then that loss doesn't look so bad? Well, it's $56 million down the drain if you don't find somebody that can come in and be better than James Franklin.
Yep. Yeah. We Googled him, and it did say that he won games, and in fact he did against Oregon this week. Indiana versus Oregon, good, bad, and ugly. Brandon.
To me, the good in this game, it was actually a pretty good game. The good in this game, though, was Indiana's front 7. They just drowned Oregon's rushing game, Oregon had been having a very good year on the ground, but they just drowned them down to 81 rushes on 30 carries, had 6 sacks on defense. Then you throw Fernando Mendoza in there. Kid had another great game. I mean, he's making his play into the Heisman talk very easily. 20 for 31, 215 yards, 1 touchdown, did throw an interception. But then early in the fourth quarter, he throws a pick 6 and lets Oregon back into the game. They tie the game 20-20. But then he just shrugs that off, turns right around, goes on a 12-play, 75-yard touchdown drive, take back the lead. They never looked back from there. They went up 27-20, ended up winning 30-20. That was the good for me. The bad was the 2 fourth-quarter interceptions by Dante Moore for Oregon. You just can't do that in a tight game against a good team and expect to win. Game was a dogfight, but it just makes it tough to come back from that against a good team. And the ugly was Oregon's offense came into this game averaging 213 rushing yards. Their rushing offense was awful, down to only 81 rushing yards. They averaged 2.7 yards on 30 attempts. That's just not good. And you're not going to win very many games against good teams if you're playing that way.
Let's get them from you, Dalton.
Yeah, I think the good for me is just Indiana overall. They won almost every category. More first downs, more third down conversions, more total yards, more passing and rushing yards, more yards per pass, more yards per rush. They had less turnovers. The defense had 2 picks. They won time of possession. Indiana just overall went on the road and broke the narrative that they did what Penn State wants James Franklin to do. Kurt said, Google me, and they did, right? This was an overall just great win by Indiana to go on the road and dominate the way they did. It was a really good football game, but they were better in almost every category, and that's going to get you wins. The bad for me, kind of like Unks, but it's just overall Oregon's offensive struggle. They averaged 503.8 yards per game. They only had 267 yards of total offense. A lot of that has to do with the fact they couldn't rush the ball in this game. So Oregon at home, you've got to find a way to not turn the ball over, especially in the fourth quarter. But you didn't even get half of what you've averaged all year long. You're at home crowd, game day. You got to take care of business. You got to at least move the ball and be efficient on offense. And then the ugly for me is this loss snaps an 18-game home win streak. But on top of that, they were 5-0 when game day was in Oregon until this. So they snapped that streak as well. I mean, they were unstoppable when game day went to Eugene. So that's 18 games at home in college football. That takes multiple years to build up. So that's just an ugly feeling in itself, especially when you walk off the field knowing you turned the ball over twice in the fourth quarter and you've been pretty good about taking care of the ball all year. You missed opportunities. You couldn't establish a run game. So they walked off this field just probably feeling like, Indiana played better than us, but we didn't give ourselves a chance in the fourth quarter. And so to me, that's just kind of that ugly feeling of this game. I still think Oregon's a really good football team, though.
The renovations to Missouri Stadium looking nice. Got to keep the rock in the end with the Missouri painted on it. But the suites going in look really nice. The record looked nice. That was until Alabama came to town this weekend. Brandon, good, bad, and ugly on this one.
This is the third week in a row that one player is getting my good in their game, and Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson is playing great ball as the quarterback for Alabama right now. Just super efficient execution, very consistently. He's 23 for 31 for 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. Made a key conversion in this game. They were only up 3, or they were down actually. And it's 4th down, 4th and 8. He completes it 29 yards. They end up throwing a touchdown, going ahead, and they end up winning the game. Not Bo Prabula, that's the other quarterback. Ty Simpson, just playing really good football right now. My bad is under the same mantra that my bad was in the last game. Bo Prabula, 2 fourth-quarter interceptions when they're only down by 3. Just a field goal on those drives makes a big difference. He's taken pretty good care of the ball this year, and he's been really good in pressure situations so far this year. You cannot throw 2 fourth-quarter interceptions when you're trying to go down and either tie or win a game. It just can't happen. And then the ugly for me is Missouri's offense overall. They went 1 for 10 on third downs on the day. That's atrocious. It killed their defense, put their defense on the field like the whole game, almost 40 minutes to almost 20 minutes for Alabama to Missouri in time of possession. 1 for 10 on the day is terrible.
Just terrible.
Terrible.
Dalton, let's go with you.
Yeah, how about Alabama capping off their 5th win in a row, making it a 1-score win that now they've won at Georgia and at Missouri. Kalen DeBauer didn't do that last year. He lost the 3 one-score games they were in. I mean, he's turning a table there, and I give him props because after that Florida State game, myself and I think others were thinking, man, this could be a long season for Alabama and a short tenure for Kalen DeBauer. But to win at Georgia now in a one-score game, at Missouri now in a one-score game, Ty Simpson playing really good ball. They're 5 in a row. Alabama's starting to look like Alabama in some ways again. The bad for me was Missouri on third downs, 1 for 10 on third downs. If you want to win close games, you've got to move the sticks. You got to stay ahead on first and second down. You've got to convert third and shorts, especially after that first drive Missouri had. I mean, it was flawless on that first drive.
Yeah.
The first drive of the second half, they get the turnover, and then all of a sudden they score again, and you're thinking, man, this looks like it's going to go Missouri's way, but they just couldn't take advantage after having some success, and they were so inconsistent on offense. And then the ugly for me was the injury scare. Marvin Burks Jr. launching into Derek Meadows, going up. He's a defenseless receiver going up to make a play on the ball, not even paying attention to the safety coming across the middle, and probably could have made a play on the ball, and instead crown a helmet right into the head of Derek Meadows, who's now out with a concussion, and he was knocked out for a second on the field. And that's just not tough to me. I hate those hits. Like I'm all for a big hit, but even you had a chance to just like wrap up and hit him normal, and you still would have hit him really hard and planted him, and it would have been a clean play. And instead you choose to do the other thing, which you thought looked cool because he's laying down there on the ground motionless, and you're celebrating because you hit a guy that wasn't even looking at you. So to me, that's just not tough, and I hate that. And I don't say this often, but it's so nice when Missouri loses. So I was really, going for Alabama in this game.
All three of us here know this. Growing up in the church that we did, there's the white man's clap. That's on 1 and 3, and then you go to one to know what they're doing, and it's in 2 and 4, and then we got the golf clap, and then we got the Kirby smart clap.
Yeah. Timeout.
Georgia versus Auburn. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the clap. Brandon, what do you got on this one?
Man, the good for me was Georgia's defense in the second half. I mean, they held Auburn to 40 yards, and they just put the clamps on Florida after the fumble at the end of the first half. I'm still undecided. But the bad was Georgia's running game was bad in this game. They're averaging 270 yards or 207 yards per game rushing. In this game, they were only able to run for 79 yards, and 26 of those were Gunnar Stockton. They averaged only 2.5 yards per carry on 31 carries. Unless you're Georgia, you're not going to win very many SEC games averaging 2.5 yards a carry. So they better clean that up. They are Georgia, but they better clean that up. And the ugly was, albeit it was a controversial call, I actually thought it was a touchdown when I looked at it. Because I felt like the ball came over and then got knocked out and went back across the goal line. Auburn just lost all composure after that. After that fumble, they lost all composure at the end of the first half. Went into halftime mentally beaten, and they were still up 10-3 at halftime. Even though it should have been 17-0, in my opinion, they had dominated Georgia to that point. They just came out flat, making a lot of mental mistakes, personal fouls, late hits. They had a targeting call. It's like mentally they were already wanting an excuse to have lost that game. And instead of being a hiccup in a much-needed win and showing their ability to overcome adversity, they just gave up, is what it seemed like to me. And that is not something you want to see out of your football team. But that was ugly just to see. They're basically quit, is what it seemed like.
What do you got, Dalton?
Yeah, we have some similar ones. I thought the good just overall was Georgia's resilience. I mean, in the first half, they couldn't get anything going until their final drive where they get 3 points on the board. Other than that drive, they had offensive series in the first half of 5 yards, 1 yard, and 14 yards. So nothing was going for them in the first half. They struggled, but in the second half, they scored 17 unanswered points. They generated 188 yards of total offense. And in that road environment, I was just impressed with how they were able to make those adjustments and find a way to overcome some things in the second half. The bad for me was the SEC officiating, and I'm not talking about the fumble because I'm undecided. Like I don't know for sure where that play should have gone, but I do think genuinely, and everybody probably thinks this and knows this, because not only could you see the timeout signal, you could see him yelling it, and it's clear
100%.
as day. So the fact that the SEC officials overturned that and said, we're not going to give you the timeout now. We're gonna address the penalty on them clapping, when that wasn't even looked at. They just believed him, like, oh yeah, okay, you weren't calling a timeout. Like, that's ridiculous. And then it's on video. So Kirby Smart's annoying the crap out of me this year, just to be honest with you. He's driving me nuts this year because there's multiple games, and I think he's a heck of a coach, but he's driving me insane with this stuff because he was not telling the officials that they were clapping, and he talked his way, because of who he is and who Georgia is, out of a timeout and got yardage on it. So that bothered me a lot, and I think the SEC should be held accountable in that one.
Well, and they still basically got the timeout because they paused everything.
Correct.
So they still basically got the timeout.
Just a joke. Like, it's a joke.
It's ridiculous.
But here's the deal. Here's my ugly, and you kind of mentioned this. Auburn's ability to overcome adversity. They can't. I mean, they're playing the victim in every game they have right now, and that's not going to win football games when you have an SEC schedule. I mean, we just talked about it. There were negative things that happened against OU, the punt return. But you can't go in and blame the refs when you had opportunities. You were on the 1 yard line and you fumbled. You know what, Jackson Arnold? Hold on to the football, and that's not a controversial play. So doesn't matter. And I get it.
I mean, he didn't need to hold on to the football as long as he held on to it, in my opinion, because he was over the line. But
I'm indifferent still. I don't know. Watching the replays, I'm like, man, I still can't tell, is the ball over the line or not? Maybe it is. But at the same time, where they had the ball, Auburn's defense had a chance to still go out, fired up, to shut down that offense and not give up a 90-yard drive.
Yeah, and they just gave up.
And that's a problem. So in the third quarter, the offense went 3 and out twice, both lasting less than 2 minutes. They only had the ball twice in the fourth quarter, and they didn't score either time. So they can make excuses all they want. They can blame the SEC officials all they want, but they had opportunities to win this game, and they couldn't find a way to get it done. So I know there's controversial stuff that happens, and they're playing the victim, and I get that. But you're at home, and you have everything in your advantage when you're up like that, and you're about to go up 17-0, even though it was still 10-0. It didn't have to be 10-3 at half. They could have gotten a stop before half.
Right.
That's the ugly for me.
One left. Favorite person to talk about, Lincoln Riley and the USC Trojans versus Michigan. Brandon.
To me, I hate to say it, but the good was just the USC offense overall. I mean, Jordan Maiava and the rest of that offense were super effective. Jordan Maiava went 25 for 32 for 265 yards, 2 touchdowns, did throw a pick. But the rushing game ran for 224 yards. They averaged 6.2 yards a carry, led by a freshman walk-on, which is crazy to me, but led by a freshman walk-on, King Miller, had 158 of those 18 carries, averaged 8.8 yards a carry. Just a really good offensive outing by USC. Bad was kind of good and kind of bad, but bad was they had 2 turnovers in the red zone that they really got away with. I've talked about turnovers in 3 of the 4 of these good, bad, and uglies. I mean, they had 2 turnovers in the red zone. They could have really blown this game open, and they didn't. They fumbled once in the red zone. They threw an interception once in the red zone. If you've got any hopes of winning a Big Ten or winning a Natty, going far in the playoffs, you got to take care of the ball. And then the ugly was just the inability of Michigan to sustain any kind of drives. They had 6 drives of less than 5 plays and were only 2 for 9 on third down conversions, 0 for 2 on fourth down conversion. The Michigan offense was just ugly.
Dalton.
Our good was the exact same. He gave you the stats, exact same. Hate to say it. it sucks watching him be successful. So hard to watch, but honestly, his offense is also fun to watch at the same time. I mean, we've seen that. We're used to it. He's a good offensive coach, and Maava was really good. King Miller, really good. It's also funny. What's going on? I mean, King Miller, Jam Miller, Dalton Miller, give us the ball, man. It don't matter.
Sorry, that was supposed to be a laugh in my head, and that just
the bad for me was the trenches. Unc, what do you always say?
the team that runs the ball the best wins the game.
Man, Michigan got dominated in the trenches. Dominated. And I know that Justice Haynes went out early in this game, but they were outgained on the ground by 224 yards. 224 to 109. They've got to find a way to run the ball against a USC defense who can't defend. You're the one team that can't run the ball against a Lincoln Riley defense. That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
So that's the bad for me. Here's the ugly for me, and I'm not a Sharon Moore guy, but the ugly for me is the home loss by Michigan. And what I mean by that is after it was announced that the Coliseum was sold out for the first time all season, probably in a long time, Sharon Moore was asked about it and went to the media and said the only reason that this game's sold out is because Michigan's coming to town. And that's what happens when he brings his football team into town. And you're going to go into the Coliseum and put up 13 points after saying that? Come on. Don't talk like that and then go lay an egg. They asked me.
I love the talk like that. I love the talk like that, but you got to be able to
back it up. You better back it up. They asked Lincoln Riley about it, and Lincoln Riley, for the first time ever, I liked his response to the media. He says, I don't care what he has to say.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, are you getting better at being a coach and talking to the media or what? Because
are you growing up?
Maybe a little bit. I don't know. But Sharon Moore, if you're going to talk, you better back it up. Don't go in there and put up 13 points and only rush for 109 yards. That's the ugly.
This weekend, 11:45 Central on the SEC Network, Oklahoma heads to South Carolina. Trying to forget about last week. So, guys, my question to you is, how do you forget about last week and focus on the Gamecocks this weekend? Brandon, starting with you.
I mean, as much as we hate losing to Texas, the reality is that's one loss. I'm not saying we're going out and winning the rest of our games, but if you do, if you go out and win all but one or two more, you find yourself an argument for the playoffs. I mean, we had the toughest schedule in the country. We've shown all our schedule is insane. And so it's one loss. You got to play next game. You got to play the next game. You got to be ready to make some changes. You got to make some adjustments. And if you're not going to be able to run the ball, you got to give that up and you got to figure out a way to manufacture some offense. We brought Ben Arbuckle in. He's got a really good mind. He's got this air raid mentality. Let him free. Let him loose on the air raid mentality and just do your thing. Figure something out to be able to scheme against a defense that's given up a fair amount of points in South Carolina. You've got to be able to scheme against them. Last year's game, I went to the South Carolina game last year, and it was over in 5 minutes, if you guys don't remember that.
Oh, we were there together.
Oh, yeah, you were there too. It was 21-0 after 5 minutes of play. Awful. And so it was over. Literally with 10 minutes left in the first quarter, game was done. But we have a better offense now, supposedly. I mean,
with a healthy quarterback, we do.
Yeah, I mean, I would have rather him not played last week, honestly. I know he asked you that earlier. I would have rather him not played last week. If we knew that's what we were going to get, then don't let him play.
Can I ask you a question from what you just said a second ago about? Okay, so this South Carolina defense gives up 147 yards rushing per game. They're not a great defense, to be honest. Like they're honestly, South Carolina is probably a little worse than I thought they were going to be this year. And they've had some quarterback issues because Lenoris has had an injury with a concussion, and I think it was a concussion. He's back and playing. He played last week. But we talked earlier about, like, there's no way we're establishing a run game. And then you just mentioned, you said, let Ben Arbuckle loose. Do you think that we're not? Like, do you think that Brent Venables still has an opinion on what's happening and that Ben Arbuckle doesn't have a full say in how he's calling and preparing for these games?
I mean, I'm not going to say that at all. I'm not going to say that at all. What I am going to say is I feel like Ben Arbuckle, his first year at a big-time program with a big-time defense and a team and a big-name coach, supposedly, I think he might be holding back a little bit. Going into the Texas game, listening to Oklahoma radio, one of the guys said he was told by somebody in the program that we had only ran 40% of the offense that we installed in fall ball and in the summer, which I have a hard time believing that. But if that's the case, they're not letting everything loose. He's not. I don't feel like he is letting everything loose. I don't feel like he's doing everything that he can to manufacture yards. I know he's trying to manufacture yards, don't get me wrong. But I think they're just have been dead set on trying to create a running game, and it's obviously not going to work. And no. I don't know if it's the running backs. I don't know if it's the blocking. I don't know if it's the scheme. I don't know what it is, but for some reason it's not working. It's probably a combination of all of those. I just want him to be free with his creativity and be able to try to create any way he wants to. I'm not saying that he's not. I just want to broaden those horizons even more. And if he's not, then definitely allow him to get out and do that.
Yeah, I'd be all in favor of an air raid. Spread it out, use the running back a little bit more in the passing game. Yeah. And if teams are going to stack the box, throw some more quick screens and just see if your receivers can make a play. And that allows I think Mateer's probably healthy enough to play. It's just that he's not healthy enough to be a football player before a quarterback. Right. He has to. He can't go take hits all game right now. And unless something drastically changes in a week, which I don't think it's going to, because there's no way he's feeling great after taking hits against Texas. I can't imagine.
He says he is.
Of course he says he is, but he didn't look it. I mean, so I would be all in favor of just seeing a little bit of a change in the offense, maybe a little bit more of like a faster tempo. We don't have to substitute all the time. Yep. Get up. Let's just get really good at pass blocking. And that's it. And I know that we mentioned you guys say that Barnes was our best pass blocker, but I love the way Blaylock runs. So you know what? I think leave him in the air raid and throw some screens to him, throw some quick routes to him, put him in the slot every now and then and see what happens.
I love the way he runs too. I do. He's my favorite running back that we have, no doubt, but he is not a good pass blocker yet. And right. And I don't want to sacrifice, and we all know I'm not a huge Javonte Barnes fan, but I don't want to sacrifice the pass blocking if we are going to end up going to a like complete air raid style offense. I don't want to sacrifice that pass blocking on every play by just leaving Blaylock in all the time.
Which, to be clear, I doubt, this is all the hopes by us. I truly believe we'll run the same offense. We'll still rush different. It sounds like Ott might be done, but that means Robinson and Barnes are going to rotate in with Blaylock, and we'll be running the same offense, and we'll still have QB runs called for Mateer this week. Like, we're not changing anything. I don't believe nothing. I hope I'm wrong.
Maybe the frequency of what plays are called.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think you are going to see a little bit more up tempo, a little bit less substituting, and a little bit more of the air raid style, just to give teams that to think about. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't at this point. The run game is not working. Like, you're not moving anybody off the ball. The line of scrimmage is starting a yard in the backfield, so you're not moving.
It's not like we've changed our minds. The only reason we had a run game against Michigan or Auburn was because of Mateer.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been our leading rusher. So that's why I'm just not convinced we'll change our mind on how we're going to call things, especially if Mateer keeps telling everybody he's 100%, then Ben's going to keep rocking with him.
Well, and I think too that what's interesting about the difference in run blocking and pass blocking is that you can have guys that are a little less experienced, guys that are maybe not as strong upper body or lower body too. But run blocking, you have to forcibly move a guy in front of you to go somewhere he doesn't want to go. Pass blocking, you just assist them going in the direction they're already going, just rerouting them.
So that's not something I know a ton about, like the differences in it. But I will say there is a benefit to watching the game with my dad, just from he's an O-line and D-line mindset. Yeah. And we do a lot of zone blocking, which he talks about, and we suck at zone blocking.
We're bad at it.
We just need to come off the ball and hit somebody.
Well, and that's the thing.
We won't do that.
That's the thing too with if you have guys that can't, like we physically are not moving guys in front of us. So if you know that you can't do that, stop making them do that and start letting them. I mean, they're going to last a lot. That offensive line is going to be a lot less winded when you come to the end of the third quarter if they are pass blocking for the majority of the game than they are trying to run block for 90% of the game and fail miserably.
I think that I would rather see us get rid of the zone block scheme and give our guys a chance to say, you're going to come off the ball and you're hitting this guy, right?
You're going to hit that guy right there.
You are going to hit that guy right there. And then you got to talk about the second level people. So then if you're a second level blocker, your job is to hit one guy quick and then move to the second level. We do this zone blocking where we try and move and 3 or 4 people on the line aren't touching anybody because they're not coming off the ball. They're trying to build a wall.
Well, they're looking for someone to hit. Like they're looking.
It's like they're waiting.
Where do I go?
They're seeing it. Someone's in their zone.
Well, right. Exactly.
And that's get rid of that. Like maybe like you're a D1 athlete. I'd hope that you're more physical than what you're showing. Yeah. So screw that and just say, we're going to fire, like try one time, try and fire off the ball and beat the guy in front of you. And then maybe you can get 3-4 yards of run.
To me, it's a lot like last year when we were talking about the RPO that they kept running. And the offensive linemen didn't know what they were supposed to be doing. Were they pass blocking? Were they run blocking? Right. They didn't know, and they were having to try to make that decision. I agree with you, Dalton. This is where the center needs to get up by the ball. He needs to point at that guy. He needs to point at that guy. This is who you're blocking. This is who you're blocking, and go. If they stunt, then you obviously have to swap that. But
that's a switch right there, and hopefully you're smart enough to communicate that and see that because it's right in front of you.
Exactly, and that leaves less of the who am I supposed to hit this play?
Yeah, we've got some picks to hit. The first one I asked you last week was so the game was in Auburn, right? Georgia?
Yeah.
Who was favored? Who was the underdog in that game?
Auburn.
Georgia was.
Oh, correct.
Georgia was the underdog?
No, Georgia was favored by like 1.5.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. Just checking. Helps on the score.
Yeah. I didn't pick an underdog last week.
47-43 is where we stand right now. Kicking things off, LSU versus Vandy, 11 a.m. on ABC on Saturday. Dalton, who you got?
I've got LSU.
You?
I don't trust that Vandy is going to get rid of trying to go anywhere but Diego Pavia, and LSU is going to key on that. And I think that he may have a day, but it won't result in a win.
It could be a trip down Main Street, down Broadway. I mean, hitting all the bars though. If Vandy
that would be super cool again, but I think
they're favored, so they technically shouldn't do that.
Well, okay.
You're not an underdog,
dude. You don't understand.
They're Vanderbilt.
They're looking for a reason to go to the bar. I mean, this would give us a reason, right? All right. You said LSU too, Brandon.
Yeah, same.
Okay. Staying with you, B. Ole Miss versus Georgia, 2:30 on ABC.
Man, this is one that I questioned, but I mean, Georgia's at home between the hedges. I'm going to stick with Georgia on this one. I don't know. I'm going to stick with Georgia on this one.
Dalton.
I'm just going to go with that.
I'm going to go opposite. I'm going to go with Ole Miss on this one to get the upset in Athens. I think that Chambliss is playing really well, over 1,200 yards. This is an offense that just has the capability to not only score 20, but score 40. Not saying that will happen, but if they do that, that puts a lot of pressure on Georgia. And I think at some point, Kirby's going to be not going to be able to talk the refs into some things. So give me Ole Miss on this one.
Thank you for clapping for that, Brandon. Dalton, staying here with you on the first pick here. Tennessee versus Alabama, 6:30 primetime game on ABC.
5 in a row for Bama. At this point, I'm going to stay with Bama to get 6 in a row.
Brandon.
Yeah, I don't know how you can go away from them right now. They may be really close to playing the best ball in the country right now.
Your favorite person, Brandon, USC. Talk about them again versus Notre Dame, 6:30. This is over on NBC, though.
I mean, it's at Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm. Jesus is watching.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go USC. Their offense is clicking right now. I'm going to stick with USC in this one.
Dalton.
Yeah, USC.
All right. Utah versus BYU, the Battle of the Mormons, 7 p.m. on Fox. Dalton. This is the nicest football game ever.
Is Bogmeyer's not hurt, correct?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, I'm going BYU.
Okay. Brandon.
I'm going Utah.
Okay.
Sweet. Love it.
If two that are different. Brandon, Baylor versus TCU. Big 12 matchup here, 11 o'clock on ESPN2.
I got to go TCU with this one. They're playing better than Baylor. As much as I love Sawyer Robertson for Baylor, I got to go TCU on this one.
Dalton?
I think I'm going to go Baylor. TCU just did not look good at all in Manhattan. At all. Blown out by a really bad K-State team. Give me Baylor on the road here.
One more. Big noon kickoff, 11 o'clock on Fox. Washington versus Michigan. Dalton?
Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. After their loss last week, Michigan.
All right. Time for your locks. Brandon, you want to roll first?
Sure. My lock this week, I'm going to Big Ten. I'm going to not to where game day was last year, but with one of the teams that was in game day last week. Oregon versus Rutgers. Oregon's favored by 17.5. And I think they're just going to be pissed after the loss last week. I think they're going to get some things right. I think Dante Moore is going to have a much better game. And I think Oregon's going to cover that spread, 17.5.
I thought you were going to go to underdog. See,
no, not this time.
Dalton.
I'm going underdog.
Okay.
I think I'm going with USC Notre Dame here. The spread's currently 9.5 to Notre Dame. USC's offense is too good to make me think that they can't keep this game within 9.5. So I know it's on the road. Yeah, but I'm going with USC plus 9.5 at Notre Dame.
It's a good pick. I mean, I picked USC in the heads up picks, so I was just too afraid to waste a underdog. Honestly, pick and not get any.
I was between that and Ole Miss. Like I think Ole Miss, even if they don't win, I think they keep that game within 7.5 at Georgia. So, but yeah, I'm going USC.
You're right.
Oklahoma State has a home game this weekend. Didn't bother really talking about the game other than section 131. Is that what we're looking at? 131, 130, 131, 132. So we can fill that up with some more shirtless fat cowboys in Stillwater this weekend.
Yeah, let's get all the shirtless hillbillies we can to the stadium.
Even the band made their way up there. This is what happens when you have a team like Oklahoma State. This is the attention that you move to.
Right. No football was paid attention to.
No. Were they even playing still, or was this just what was going on?
They were just up there eating hay and taking their shirts off, acting like they were in the pasture on a Saturday night.
Man, if OSU wants to be good again, they'll pay James Franklin.
But is James Franklin going to take that? Because I mean, if he coaches again,
why not? You'd go to the playoff.
Yeah, but you lose $56 million for sitting out.
Yeah, if he signs a deal, his buyout is
you
retro.
can't coach anymore. for the rest of the time.
How many years?
Whatever's left.
He just signed a 10-year extension in like 23.
How soon can he take a job?
Well, he can take a job tomorrow,
but he'll lose the money.
If he takes a job tomorrow, he doesn't get the buyout.
All of it, or just some of it?
All of it.
I don't know if it's I don't know.
So if he takes one in 5 years, he gets the payout through 5 years. He takes one this year.
They must be changing contracts because
he gets the rest of this year if he takes it this year.
I don't know why Nebraska didn't do that when they were paying all their. I mean, they paid Scott Frost when he took another job. They paid Bo Pelini when he took another job. So is that just new in contracts?
Well, they say they don't ever tell you about. They tell the payout. They think they make you think they're getting that money the day they walk out the door. They're not.
Right, but it's paid out.
It's over years. That's what I'm saying. But I mean, Bo Pelini was a job. That's why Bo Pelini went to Youngstown State. Oh, he was like, I'll go coach there, and he took No, they're D1.
They're D1. Yeah.
So that might.
He was getting the money from Youngstown. And then still getting paid by Nebraska for 6 years.
Yeah, that's not a thing anymore.
Interesting. Yeah. I didn't know that. That's why I'm like,
who's the coach at A&M before
Jimbo Fisher?
Yeah, Fisher. He's chilling. He's chilling right now. He's not going to.
He got $76 million in that buyout.
He steps on a football field as a coach again. The rest of that's gone.
So that just must be a thing. That like the schools got smart and said.
I think they just started putting it in the contracts. Yeah.
That would make more sense.
I think it's just in the contract.
I mean, the right thing right now.
If I'm James Franklin, just like I told y'all earlier, you give me my $56 million and find me in the or not find me in the Bahamas because I'm going to be lost in some deserted island somewhere. You're never going to know where I'm at.
My thing is these dudes do what they do because they love it. I think so. There's no way he doesn't take another job, in my opinion.
Yeah,
maybe not next year. Maybe he sits on it for a year. I don't know. He might wait for the right
every single week on Pat McAfee for 2026 and collect all that money that he made for not coaching at all for a year. Keep his name out there, keep his expertise out there, and then go take a job. He's going to take maybe 7 million, 8 million of that 56.
Gonna end up on the Fox pregame show on Big Noon Kickoff or something.
No, I mean that's the thing. Just do one of those things. You don't have to.
My whole thing is if you take a Big 12 job right now,
you're right,
and you're as good, you're going to the playoff.
Yeah,
like James Franklin's better than anybody in the Big 12.
Yeah,
he may take a Big 12 job at Oklahoma State though. It may take 5 years to get enough players in there that are worth anything because they are bare coverage right now.
And they have to start with learning what the actual NIL is because their coach didn't let them.
He comes in. I'm sure he will attract players.
Yeah, Oklahoma State also has money that they want to give out. Gundy won't. So
Gundy can't give out their money anymore.
Much more. But that's what Gundy. That was a big issue is they had to put some money toward NIL, and Gundy didn't want to do that.
That's going to make it hard.
He has all of Oklahoma's hand-me-downs.
Yeah.
Right.
And D2 players. I mean, he has 3 D2 starting wide receivers this year because he wouldn't pay people.
Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy. Well, guys, as bad as I didn't want to talk football this week because I was pissed off about last Saturday, this was a really good time. You know what they say, right?
Last weekend wasn't good.
But this midweek is better.
And boom goes the dynamite.